On April the 14th, 1944, as Memorial Train number 6978 left out of Evergreen Station. 74, right? Yeah. The train heads down the tracks all the way to North Carolina on the express. Express train number 6994. I just gonna call it 6994. Heads down the switch. But it was a rare signal. So the train, there's no way my train just crashed. On July the 14th, 2011, New Jersey train number 248 was appeared to go off from Evergreen to Mexico on the express. It was a new JT train going to turn into a JR, no, not JR, into a New Jersey now, as this is an old train a little bit. The train passes the limited speed but heads down the tracks. But the driver noticed it was a red signal, but it was green, so they head down a curve, down the tracks. Moments later, finally they met on the main line, heads down the tracks. Slowly into the bridge. Where's the water at? They were stopping at the station They were stopping at Grandy Central to pick up passengers at the station. The train had to move a little bit farther to stop the train. And then they stopped. It was now 169 passengers on board, and they leaving Grandy Central. But this disaster gonna be a nightmare. And then they head on the track at 112 miles per hour. The train passes the tracks, the switch. It heads down the curve to the next station, where's the yard at. But moments later, they were about to pass the station where it was right there, and there the station. They were passing Ramias Station. Probably speak. But the problem is the train wouldn't slow down enough. It heads back on the main line, but the red signal was on the other tracks, so they could not stop. But soon as enough, the driver noticed the train picking up speed at 116 miles per hour, heading down the tracks way too fast. It doesn't know why the speed is going way faster and faster. And the moments later, the brakes starting to smoke. They were at San Francisco station to stop at the station, but the brakes applied hard to stop the train. The driver said thank God we didn't press the station, but that was closed. That was closed. As passengers get on, it was 165 passengers on board now. Leaving off the San Camslow station. But again, it passes the speed limit. It passes the red signal. It doesn't stop and it ignores it. Now going way too fast. The curve of the steep curve was going harder and harder. But the notice problem, the train started now losing speed in the curve. They were passing the yard through the cracks of the city and houses. But there were another steep curve we're heading on. It was too steep. The driver tried to slam the brakes hard, but when replied, train number 248 doesn't stop anywhere and blows the horn and knows the train was going to a problem as 248 has the curve. There was another steep curve. Dang it. The engine train almost flipped over, but then a disaster was about to happen, and then they head down the hill, approximately 120 miles per hour, and then a disaster was about to happen, and then disaster strikes. Moments later, they made it all the way to Evergreen Station to stop, and the whole disaster explosion just happened. The train smacked off the rails. The first car smashes into the tree, making all the cars flip over and riggy-rag and twisty and swirly into pieces, making the train gets on the station, and one of the passengers on the station had to run, and some of them got hurt because the train, they didn't see it. Moments later, at the derailment, train number 248 smacked off the rails at Evergreen Station, and they were almost there to their last stop. 100. Sadly, I would never say this, but 150 people have passed away, and 10 was injured, and more survived in the other cars. But some of them survived on this car because it came off the rails as the first car did. But some of them are injured because the second car glass breaks off and making people fall and get stuck on a butt. I know I want to say it, but sorry. The wheels from the second car makes it exploded and makes it the train explosion just happened at 7 a.m. But in the morning, in hours, firefighters and cops and ambulance came for help as 248 smacked on the rails. A lot of trains was... We don't even know. There was a lot of delays on the original rail on SEPTA, like SEPTA. So do you have the Xbox controller? I don't even know where you put it. And did that whole derailment, a lot of trains was very delayed since the year of the day. In 2012, the tracks was repaired after that explosion. The tracks was wiggly and very damaged. Now all the trains was delayed through the lines, and they find the people and rescue them and take them to the hospital. And after that disaster, it was crazy. But at night, people started hearing a siren sound. This siren sound is like these lights that turn orange and goes back off and turns orange. It's an emergency light that can control the train to alarm the people for help and the people call 911 after the crash. But sadly, they don't know how could this thing crash at Evergreen Station. How could this happen? The train number 248 smashes off the rails. What happened was the brakes weren't supplied after the ice on the brakes makes the train fully out of control. Deadly. Some of the passengers, the people survived, and they were very late for work. And one of the members of the family calls to work, and they were dead. They were like dead. And the worker job was very crying and depressed how he was working, and he was a hard worker. Now on the train he was going to the city of Philadelphia, of Penn's Landing, Orlando, all delays of the station at the last stop. The last stop station, it was saying a crash, and people were so surprised at the last stop. The press, it was crowded at the last stop at night. Now all the trains came before express train knew 248 knew this was gonna happen. Hey, there's another New Jersey train that's called JT. Wonder why they call this one a JT. Or just an R? Because I don't even know. That's like you call it a T. But that's what I'm going to call it because it's almost like a T. After that day, after this derailment just happened, it was horrifying. On Christmas of December the 25th, 1999. Yes. She keep her feet. Sorry guys, 1999. This steam engine train had 201 passengers on board. Come on, hurry up! I don't want my trains to get deleted. Holy moly!
Why is your car crying? Leave me alone.
Okay, come on. Ah, this is way stupid. Okay, it was going from Evergreen to United States of America.
Alright, I'll be back, okay?
The train left early because it was a rush hour on the West Network. After the steam engine turns on the main line, heads down the tracks. Ooh. You don't care. Moments later, after the train sees something, a light. It was a red signal, and the train ignores it, still picking up speed. Heads down the curve, it's a steep curve. But the train was super express because it was the new line for West Network. Until 2001, there would be no super express. It's only going to be express and local. They passes Grand Central. That's the train going. But the moments of train number 5488 has through the 4 tracks and then West Network train number 5488 crashed onto the 4 tracks at 112 miles per hour. On January the 1st, 2001, train number 5684 left out of Evergreen Station to Africa, Hawaii on express line. But this disaster gonna be way quick right now. It's train number 5684 left out of the station. As the train had to move slowly because the heavy passengers, where there were 256 of them on the crowders. So some of them got to wait outside for a while. It took a long time for them to get out the yard, but not the last stop too. It was going at 125 miles per hour. And then the train doesn't slow down. And then a disaster was about to happen. And it passes the red signal. – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – 86, 84 exploded at, at the switch, making the train exploded. Freight train number 94, 90, no, not 94, 9088 was a CCX leaving San Camlo, Ilo. As the train left the yard to go to Port Partland Yard, where they're gonna stop at there. The freight train was very gonna be stopping at like 1 yard to the next for the last stop yard. It was going 90 miles per hour, passes the speed limit, and goes through the bridge. CCX number 9088. I'm just gonna call it 88 because I keep forgetting the numbers. There's a train going. A few moments later, they passes a racine. And the train doesn't know the crash was gonna happen. CCX number 9088 passed down the switch onto the curve. And passes the station at Renia Station. There's a lot of trains be stopping at the station. I just gonna put the bell on because that's what they do when they almost there. They were exactly almost there to the last stop. Not last stop, but 1 yard. But exactly as 9088 was going to crash somewhere deadly to death. Here it goes. But as CCX heads down the switch at 94 miles per hour, as the train started wiggly and woggly already to the tracks. But it started getting worse as the train keeps about to flip over on the side. But the CCX problem was getting way worse. Man, a disaster. Was ever all for the disasters. The disaster of the final last words of 9088 disaster. And then disaster strikes begins for the final words. Goodbye to the train. Sadly, sadly, 9088 exploded. After it was too little late after crashing off the rails. A huge explosion at the yard. They were right there to stop, and a lot of people hears it and record a whole disaster. After that whole disaster, another train smacked into one of the boxcars, making that derail and making the boxes fall over in a huge delay at Port Oxum yard. All the box trucks almost got hit by these wood boxwood things that that holds on, but fell over on the tracks. And his the pull, not the no, not pull like you get in the pool like with the water. I just want to say it like that. But making the gate things, the gate that you put right here makes the truck almost flip over, but it was fine still. After that whole crash, one of the blue car truck had make it explode. Sadly, the two engineers of the train 9088 was going on their final words for the disaster.